Shocking truth. Black waitress reveals Japanese billionaire woman's secret at midnight. The clock struck 12 in the bustling heart of Tokyo, but somewhere deep in the shimmering streets was a diner, its flickering neon sign casting a supernatural glow over a seemingly ordinary scene. Inside, the smell of sizzling rice and fried dumplings mingled with the unmistakable tension that sparkled like static in the air. People whispered, eyes darting toward the back, where a figure cloaked in mystery sat alone, fingers tapping nervously against the glass tabletop. She was no ordinary customer. A black waitress named Lisa, with tired but watchful eyes, felt something shift in the atmosphere. Every night had its secrets, but this night felt different. Lisa's heart raced. The room hummed with anticipation, held together by stories of a Japanese billionaire woman known for her luxury, intrigue, and power. They said she arrived after midnight, slipping through the door like a phantom. No one knew why she came to this humble diner, but the waitress could sense that something monumental was about to unfold. As she approached the table, Lisa's throat dried up. The woman, with her raven black hair cascading over a designer jacket, offered a smile that felt both warm and chilling. It was the gaze of someone who promised the world yet concealed 1,000 dark truths. Lisa's hands trembled as she poured the coffee, the steam swirling like tendrils of smoke, hiding secrets of its own. The diner's glow seemed to dim slightly, the world narrowing to just the two of them, which made Lisa wonder, what was this woman really here for? Was she a mere patron, or a puppet master pulling unseen strings? Just then, a small group of patrons gasped as a figure emerged behind the billionaire. It was a tall man, unmistakably out of place, his presence almost suffocating. Anxiety prickled up Lisa's spine as she noticed the way her regular customers curled their lips in confusion and fear. Murmurs spread like wildfire, casting shadows of judgment over the diner. "Who's that guy?" one asked, voice barely above a whisper. The air thickened with speculation and dread. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." As the low hum of chatter faded, Lisa felt the uncomfortable weight of their gazes shift back to her, the pressure of 100 eyes cloaking her like an unwanted blanket. The knife-edge tension twisted again when the billionaire woman leaned closer. "You don't know me yet, but you will," she whispered, her voice steady but laced with a warning. Lisa's breath caught in her throat. What did that mean? Just then, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen, startling everyone. All eyes snapped toward the back, where a pan had clattered to the floor, and Lisa's heart raced. Could there be a connection to all of this? With every second that ticked by, she felt the gnawing curiosity consume her. What secrets lay beneath the surface of this glamorous facade? And how were they all tied together in this diner that felt borrowed from reality and dipped in mystery? She knew one thing for sure, she couldn't turn away now. The question was, could she survive whatever was about to be unveiled? Lisa's heart was pounding as she turned to glance back at the kitchen, where frantic movement was now evident. The clatter of pots and pans echoed, but in that dim diner, the chaos only heightened the eerie calm that enveloped the rest of the room. Patrons were frozen, unable to tear their gaze from the table at the back. The air felt heavy, electric, as if the diner itself was holding its breath. The billionaire woman remained unfazed, her eyes glinting like obsidian under the flickering lights. "It's all part of the show, dear," she said, leaning back casually, her voice dripping with an unsettling confidence. "Show?" Lisa murmured, her eyes darting back to the chaos at the kitchen entrance. Was it a distraction? Was that man behind her a threat or an ally? Lisa's stomach churned as whispers escalated around her. "Keep watching," the woman continued, her lips curling into a slight, predatory smile. "You'll soon see what happens when worlds collide." Just then, the towering figure stepped forward, his face partially shadowed but his intent clear. Lisa's breath caught as he locked eyes with her. Those eyes were a storm, a desperate whirlpool of fury and despair. The diner patrons sensed the shift in energy, their hearts sinking with the tension looming above the polished tables. "Who are you?" Lisa found herself asking despite the dry knot in her throat. "Everything you need to know lies within that woman," he shot back, his tone sharp, accusing. "She plays a dangerous game, and you're in the middle of it now." The waitress swallowed hard, perplexed. What kind of game was being played in this backwater diner at the edge of Tokyo? Before she could process his words, the scene exploded. The kitchen door swung wide open, and a familiar face stepped through, panting as if she'd run for her life. Miyuki, the head chef. Her uniform was stained, and a look of sheer panic plastered across her face. "They're here." Miyuki gasped, eyes darting between the billionaire and the man. The air thickened, suffocating any remaining chatter in the diner. "The Yakuza, they found her." A collective gasp erupted, slicing through the midnight atmosphere. Searing fear spread like a wildfire, causing people to shuffle back in their seats, eyeing the exits with frantic and desperate glances. Lisa's mind raced. The Yakuza? Were they after the billionaire, or was it something else entirely? The billionaire held her gaze steady on Miyuki, an unsettling calm washing over her. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, a chilling thinness to her voice, like ice gliding over a razor edge. Miyuki's breath trembled, eyes wide. "I tried, but it's too late now. They're coming for you." Yet before anyone could grasp the severity of the situation, the door to the diner swung open violently. A gust of wind swept through, followed by an imposing figure dressed in a sleek black suit, flanked by two rough-looking men. The moment their eyes fell on the billionaire, the tension hit its peak. "Time's up," the suited man said, his voice smooth yet full of menace. "Let us not drag this out." Lisa could feel every nerve in her body snap to attention. This was no ordinary night anymore, this was a confrontation, and she was right in the eye of the storm. What was the billionaire hiding? And what did the Yakuza really want? As shadows danced across the diner, Lisa realized she had to make a choice: step back and stay safe, or plunge deeper into a fight that echoed the darkest corners of the world she thought she knew. Just then, the billionaire caught Lisa's eye, her expression sharpening with intensity. "You wanted to know the truth now, it's your moment." The clash of secrets loomed on the horizon, a storm waiting to break. Lisa could only wonder, what truth was she about to unearth? And as she stood on the precipice of danger, she felt the unyielding pull to step forward. The suited man took a step into the diner, the shadows clinging to him like the smoke that wafted from the hissing grill behind the counter. He scanned the room with a predatory concentration, locking eyes with the billionaire. "You really thought you could hide?" he said, an oily smile curling up his lips. Lisa's pulse raced. This was no ordinary confrontation. She could feel the tension radiating from the patrons, their expressions painted with a mix of fear and anticipation. No one dared to utter a sound, as if breaking the silence might cause the world around them to shatter. With each second that passed, the billionaire remained still, her confidence unwavering. "You should have known, Takashi," she replied, her voice steady, as if they were exchanging pleasantries over tea rather than standing on the edge of a confrontation. "That hiding is a skill best practiced in your line of work." Miyuki's breath hitched in her throat. "We have to go. There's no time," she insisted, urgency rising in her voice. The panic in her eyes made Lisa's stomach twist. What did the Yakuza want? And why was the billionaire so unfazed? Lisa's heart ached as she turned to the figure behind her, the mysterious man whose presence sent shivers down her spine. He seemed to be weighing the situation, shifting from ready to fight to contemplating escape. At that moment, it struck her, was she supposed to trust him, or was he just another player in this dangerous game? "Listen to her, Anna," he said suddenly, addressing the billionaire. "Your games have consequences. The billionaire's lips turned into a smirk. Consequences are mere stepping stones for someone like me, she shot back. I'm not afraid of ghosts from the past. And just like that, the air in the diner thickened. It felt charged, like electricity crawling over skin. Tekashi's smile faded, and his two companions shifted restlessly. This isn't your past anymore. It's your future that's on the line, he warned, his voice a low whisper that still managed to slice through the tension. Miyuki stepped forward, her resolve firming. You don't know what they're capable of, Anna. This isn't just about you anymore. They're ruthless. Suddenly, the sound of shattering glass erupted, echoing across the diner. Lisa flinched, her heart leaping into her throat. A stray chair had toppled over, a simple accident, but in the charged atmosphere, it erupted like a gunshot. All eyes turned to the door, adrenaline thrumming beneath the surface. Now! The suited man shouted, lunging towards the billionaire. In seconds, chaos erupted. Chairs scraped against the floor as patrons scrambled to safety, survival instincts kicking in. Lisa barely thought as she lunged forward, grabbing Miyuki's arm, dragging her toward the rear exit, but the weight of the world felt heavier. Red-hot fear coursed through her veins. Outside, the dim alley awaited, filled with unknown dangers. Would their escape be the end of the nightmare? Lisa, stop! Miyuki shouted, yanking against her. We can't leave. We need to protect Anna. She holds the key to everything. What key? Lisa's mind spiraled. The stakes were rising, and she had just plunged into something dark and twisted. The waitstaff was caught in the crossfire, unwilling players in a game bigger than themselves. As the panic surged, Lisa's eyes searched the diner for the billionaire. There she was, holding Tekashi's gaze with fierce determination. The chaos around them faded, leaving just the two of them locked in silent conflict. Trust me, Lisa, the billionaire called out, her voice cutting through the ringing in Lisa's ears. This is far from over. In that moment, Lisa faced a choice: run toward the dark unknown or stand her ground in the swirling chaos. What whispered truths were about to surface? What dark alliance was she stepping into? With her heart pounding in rhythm with the rising storm, Lisa hesitated, then turned back toward the scene unfolding. Stand together or fall apart, she murmured under her breath, just as the door swung wide open again. This time, it wasn't just chaos that filled the threshold. It was the unknown, and it was hungry. What awaited them beyond those doors? The question hung in the air, waiting to be answered. The door slammed open, its resounding crack pulling Lisa from her internal battle. A figure filled the doorway, silhouetted against the dim light outside. The jagged edges of his stance revealed tension coiled tight like a spring. Lisa squinted, her gut tightening. It was another man, another player in this deadly game. Get back inside! He shouted, voice pierced by an urgency that made the hairs on the back of Lisa's neck stand up. But before anyone could react, a gunshot echoed through the diner, sharp and deafening. The world spun, a whirlwind of chaos. Patrons screamed, panicked breaths punctuating their flight. The suited man froze, a flicker of shock passing over his face before it morphed into cold determination. Anna! He shouted, pushing past the table, broad shoulders knocking over anything in his path. Lisa felt Miyuki's grip tighten around her wrist, both of them on edge. Is this your idea of a rescue? The billionaire shot back, sarcasm drenching her words. The fear flickered in her eyes but was swallowed by defiance. Shut up and move. The newcomer demanded, already raking his gaze across the scene, weighing their escape options. Miyuki pulled Lisa closer. We can't leave her behind. Her voice trembled, desperately trying to ground Lisa in a reality that was rapidly unraveling, but Anna's eyes narrowed. Trust him, she commanded, an authority wrapped in urgency. He's got information, things you both need to know. With every heartbeat, Lisa's fear morphed into something raw and electric. Information? What did Anna mean? Just then, two more figures burst through the entrance, thugs clearly on a mission. They eyed the scene, calculating their next move. Their leader, broad-shouldered with a dragon tattoo snaking down his forearm, smirked. "This little party looks fun," he taunted, glancing around the diner almost in slow motion. "But it's time to end this charade." The suited man transfigured into action, stepping forward with a ferocity that rattled Lisa. "We don't want any trouble," he growled, hands raised in mock surrender, even as his eyes conveyed a primal threat. Lisa's heart raced, the knot of tension tightening. Here she was, caught in a whirlpool of violence, with every moment ticking closer to a breaking point where layers of deception would peel away. "What are we going to do?" she whispered, voice trembling. "Follow my lead," the newcomer instructed, his eyes flickering toward the side door, the one that led outside into the engulfing darkness. "It's our best shot." Miyuki inhaled sharply. "We need to protect Anna." "Anna can handle herself," he retorted, voice sharp like glass. "We need to move." In that second, time fragmented, everything felt suspended. Lisa noticed the faces of the diner patrons, each etched with fear, their lives entangled in the ripples of a fight none of them asked for. But what about her? This wasn't just another night in the diner, this was a battle for survival where secrets teetered on the edge of revelation. "Okay," she finally said, surrendering to the chaos around her. "Let us do this." The suited man gave a curt nod, eyes drilling into hers with an intensity that held untold stories. "On three," he said. And then, as the tension reached its peak, the entire diner seemed to hold its breath. 1, 2, would they make it out alive? 3. They bolted toward the rear exit, adrenaline surging as gunfire erupted behind them. The echoes of chaos thundered in Lisa's ears as the world exploded into a frenzy. Would they outrun the shadows that pursued them, or would this be the moment where everything dark and hidden finally came to light? The unknown was closing in, and anticipation gripped her heart like a vice. They launched themselves into the darkness, the door swinging shut just as another bullet ricocheted off the metal frame with a deadly ping. Lisa's lungs burned as she sprinted, adrenaline skyrocketing like a racehorse bolting from the gate. She felt the cold air lash her face and the gravel bite into her shoes. "Over here!" shouted the suited man, glancing back to the entrance before veering to the left. Lisa's heart raced, scrambled thoughts echoing in her mind. What was happening? She had plunged from a mundane diner night into sheer chaos, and now all she could hear was the pounding of her own heartbeat, syncing with the thudding footsteps around her. They ducked behind a dumpster, the air cloyed with the smell of trash and anxiety. Miyuki gasped, panting beside Lisa, eyes wide with terror. "What do we do now?" she asked, clutching Lisa's arm, her strength wavering. "Shoo," the suited man hissed, peering from behind the dumpster. "They'll be right on our heels. We need to blend and keep quiet." He shot an anxious glance back down the alleyway, searching for signs of their pursuers. Lisa pressed her back against the cold steel of the dumpster, hyper-aware of the panic swirling around her. "We can't just run forever," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, tension lighting her words. "Then let us hope this helps," he replied, pulling a small device from his pocket. It looked like an old-school pager, but its buttons glinted with technology Lisa didn't recognize. "What is that?" Miyuki asked, skepticism lacing her voice. "A tracker. It'll lead us to a safe spot, but we have to move now," he replied, hands trembling slightly as he pressed a button. A small screen flickered with a pulsing data beacon in the disarray. "Safe spot?" Lisa echoed, dread pooling at the base of her stomach. Wouldn't it be safer to hide? But the suited man's intensity demanded trust, and she could feel the weight of that aimless dread lift slightly. "Just follow me," he said, dashing into the shadows. They fell into step behind him, their feet not even making a sound against the pavement. The adrenaline was like fuel now, igniting their movements as they navigated through narrow corridors and darkened streets. Lisa risked a glance over her shoulder, expecting to see the thugs emerge at any moment. A group of figures turned a corner into the alley, their silhouettes sharp against the flickering streetlights. Lisa froze, barely breathing. Shadows passed, voices murmuring, laced with menace. "This way," the suited man urged, pulling them deeper into the maze of alleyways. The tracker buzzed softly in his hand, guiding them like a lighthouse in the fog. The air shifted, something was changing. The suited man abruptly stopped, pressing his back against a brick wall. "We have to pause," he breathed, eyes darting. His muscles tensed like steel cables under his jacket. Listen, a resonating crack split the silence, another gunshot echoing in the distant dark. Followed by the cadence of footsteps closing in heavy and deliberate. The drums of their pursuers echoed through the alleys like the warning of an oncoming storm. "Keep quiet," he repeated, a fierce resolve flickering in his eyes. Lisa felt the intensity of the moment and her chest tightened with the pressure of the impending confrontation. Miyuki clenched Lisa's hand, fear palpable in the air between them. What was waiting on the other side of this corner? "Can you hold on for just a bit longer?" he murmured, his gaze steady on the shadows swirling just ahead, and then, she felt a knot of panic in her chest, an inexplicable fear about what they would find if they turned this corner. What shocking truths still lay ahead? Before she could form a response, a figure materialized from the veil of night, the outline unmistakable, tall, menacing, and all too familiar. "Thought you could escape?" The voice sent chills racing through her veins. Lisa's heart plummeted. The game was just beginning. Lisa's mind raced, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. The voice, low and taunting, belonged to Derek, a man whose face was etched into her nightmares. Time seemed to freeze as she registered his presence, a formidable figure who thrived in shadows and secrets. Derek, the name slipped from her lips, more a breath than a word. She felt her heart pounding like a relentless drum in her chest. There was no escaping now. The menacing grin on his face made it clear he relished this moment, every second agonizingly deliberate. "Isn't it adorable?" he sneered, leaning casually against the wall. "You thought you could run from me? You must be forgotten who you're dealing with." The arrogance in his tone sent an involuntary shiver down her spine. Behind her, she sensed the panic radiating from Miyuki. "What do we do, Lisa?" she whispered, barely holding on to hope. "Stay still," Lisa commanded, her voice steadier than she felt. The suited man shifted slightly, positioning himself in front of them, a protective stance that both reassured and terrified her. "Let us make this simple," Derek continued, his eyes glinting with malicious glee. "You have something of mine, and I want it back." He stepped closer, his shadow looming large and threatening. Miyuki flinched beside Lisa, and the suited man's face hardened as he turned slightly, evaluating his options. The tracker pulsated softly in his pocket, urging him to lead them towards safety, yet here was Derek, anchoring them in this moment of dread and uncertainty. "What do you want, Derek?" Lisa asked, forcing herself to maintain eye contact. She couldn't show fear. It was crucial, one slip and everything could spiral out of control. "Oh, it's simple really. That little device," he gestured disdainfully. "Hand it over, and I might let you both walk away." Lisa felt her heart thumping louder, a war raged inside her. The allure of handing it over, relinquishing the burden, battled against her instinct to stand firm. She glanced at the suited man, his jaw clenched tight, calculating. "Never," he spat, the word dripping with defiance. "That tracker is our only chance." Derek's lips curled, a smirk teasing the edges of his face like a predator circling its prey. "Ah, I was hoping you would say that." Suddenly, a faint clicking sound broke through the tension, like the ticking clock counting down their doom. Derek's expression soured, the smirk being replaced by irritation. "You think you can hide behind the technology, you pathetic little rats?" In a flash, he lunged forward, but the suited man was quicker. He shoved Lisa and Miyuki sideways as he lunged back, using his own body as a shield. The sound of something heavy crashing behind them echoed through the narrow alley like thunder. "Run!" the suited man shouted, already moving toward Derek, who was attempting to regain his footing. Lisa's instincts kicked in, and she grabbed Miyuki's arm, dragging her along. They sprinted down the alley, the rhythmic pounding of their feet mingling with the chaos behind them. Each second was a lifetime, fear surging within them like a powerful wave. Where to? Miyuki gasped, her face pale and frantic. The tracker. Lisa yelled, adrenaline fueling her desperation. Just follow it. They bolted further into the labyrinth of alleyways. The flickering streetlights cast erratic shadows that danced and twisted around them. Lisa's breath came in sharp, quick gasps, yet she dared not slow down. Derek's laughter echoed in the distance, each note a reminder that they were being hunted. Just when the tracker's light seemed to steady and promise a reprieve, they skidded to a halt at the mouth of another street. A dark figure stood silhouetted against the dim glow of neon lights, blocking their path. "Get back," whispered the suited man, tension coiling in the air. His body readied for confrontation again, but dread clawed at Lisa's chest. Was it fate, or another trap? Who was this newcomer? And could they trust anyone now? As the figure stepped forward, moonlight hit their face, revealing eyes filled with secrets and intentions unknown. Looking for a way out? The stranger asked, a sly smile creeping across their lips. The question hung in the air, heavy with impending danger. Lisa's heart raced as the stranger stepped into the light. She didn't recognize the face, but there was something unsettling about their smile, the kind that sent a ripple of anxiety racing through her. "Who are you?" she demanded, trying to mask the tremor in her voice. "Just a friend," the stranger replied, their tone smooth, almost too soothing for the situation. "And you're in quite a bind. I can help you." "Help us?" the suited man asked, his stance still protective but skepticism etched into his features. "What's in it for you?" "Let's just say," the stranger began, eyes glinting slyly, "I have a vested interest in Derek being kept at bay." Miyuki squeezed Lisa's arm, her grip shaking. "We can't trust anyone right now," she whispered, fear lacing her voice. Before Lisa could respond, a loud crash echoed from behind them, followed by Derek's threatening snarl. It became all too clear that they were running out of time. "Trust is a luxury," the stranger replied, their gaze darting toward the unseen chaos. "But if you want to survive, you'll need to make a choice." Lisa felt the weight of their decision pressing down on her. What could this newcomer possibly know? The evidence they had against Derek was their only lifeline, and handing it over seemed like a fool's bargain. Yet, their mounting fear made her pulse quicken. "Time's up," the stranger snapped, pulling a sleek device from their pocket, a small gadget pulsating with a flickering red light. "This will give you a fighting chance." "What is it?" Miyuki asked, staring at the device as if it were a coiled snake. "An EMP," the stranger explained, urgency clouding their features. "It'll disable any electronic devices in the vicinity, Derek included. But you have to activate it at the right moment." Lisa felt a glimmer of hope but instantly pushed it aside. "What's the catch?" "No catch, just that," the stranger replied, shrugging dismissively. "Activate it, and you might escape with your lives. But if you don't trust me, you'd better run fast." "Let us go," the suited man urged, turning to the shadowed streets before them. The crashing sound grew closer, the unmistakable footsteps of Derek echoed ominously. "Follow me," the stranger commanded, darting down the alley, moving with a purpose that was hard to ignore. Even with her misgivings, Lisa found herself compelled. They had to act. They followed, the frantic energy crackled in the air. Lisa's mind raced with possibilities. How had they stumbled into this twisted game? One wrong move and it could all unravel like a thread. Suddenly, they halted at the end of the alley, staring at a crossroads. Another series of choices loomed. The stranger pointed left, leading the way, whispering over their shoulder, "That's the way to safety, or so I hope." "What do you mean?" Lisa shot back, her pace quickening to keep up. but the stranger's focus was locked ahead, unbothered by her question. "Stop right there." A voice boomed behind them. Derek. His tone was dangerously calm, echoing with authority as it sliced through the tension like glass shattering. "Don't make this harder on yourselves." They turned as one, anxiety crystallizing. The choice before them was acute, panic rushing through Lisa's veins. Could they escape this grip of terror? Or was this stranger leading them right into Derek's waiting trap? With a mixture of dread and determination, Lisa squared her shoulders, ready to make their move. But in the flickering shadow, another figure emerged. It was a second player, and neither Lisa nor Miyuki could have anticipated this. "Let us see who truly has the advantage," the new figure said, voice low and taunting, leaving them hanging on the edge of the unknown. What had they walked into now? The air hung heavy with anticipation, a thick fog of fear settling around them. The new figure stepped fully into the light, revealing a face Lisa never thought she'd see again. It was Caitlin, her former friend and confidant, someone who had vanished without a trace, leaving Lisa to wonder what had happened. "Caitlin?" Lisa gasped, disbelief washing over her. "Funny running into you like this," Caitlin said, a smirk sprawled across her face. "Seems like the past has a way of catching up with you. What are you doing here? And why with him?" Miyuki shouted, her voice raw with emotion. She cast a wary glance at the stranger, who rolled their eyes, impatient. "Funny story, but I'm not here to chit-chat," Caitlin replied, her eyes darting back to the suited man and then to the stranger. "Derek wouldn't he like it if I spoiled his little game?" Dread twisted in Lisa's gut. They were trapped in a supernatural chess match, and every piece on this board was dangerous. Beneath it all, there was a flicker of familiarity in Caitlin's demeanor that only added to the tension. "Enough of this. You need to leave now," the stranger urged, stepping close to Lisa, their voice dropping into a harsh whisper. "Activate the EMP and run. It's the only way." Lisa's mind raced. She had always trusted Caitlin. They had shared dreams, secrets, and heartaches together. But what was this new mask she was wearing? Why was she here now? "Why are you working with him?" Lisa asked, fighting the urge to step back. "And what about everything you went through to get away from Derek?" Caitlin stepped forward, voice low but fiery. "You don't know the whole story, Lisa. I had to choose sides, and right now, we're the ones who are exposed. Trust me or not, but I know how to handle Derek. He's not invincible." "Then prove it." The suited man challenged, stepping toward her. "What do you know?" Caitlin's expression darkened. "Every move he makes is calculated. But you have the advantage now, and you don't even realize it. The moment you understand that all this ties back to what I went through, you'll piece this together." With chaos creeping closer, Lisa felt her heart skip a beat. She glanced at the stranger, their urgency palpable. "We need to decide now," they insisted, their fingers tapping the device ominously. Derek's voice cut through the night like a blade. "I suggest you make it quick. Your freedom is running out." The group fell silent for a heartbeat, the tension slicing through the air. Lisa's chest tightened. She could feel every pulse of her heart, could hear the faintest whispers of doubt creeping in. She had lived too long in fear. It was time to reclaim her life. "We're activating it," Lisa declared, resolve hardening in her voice. "What?" Miyuki cried, eyes wide with alarm. "Are you insane?" But Lisa couldn't turn back. She turned to the stranger, grasping the EMP tightly. "Then we need to act together." "On three," the stranger said. This was it. Every moment had built up to this, each secret, each lie. She could feel the weight of her choices as they stood there at the edge of the abyss, hearts pounding. 1, 2 Then, out of nowhere, Caitlin interrupted, her gaze locking onto them like a powerful magnet. 3 is not the number you should worry about. You need to prepare to lose everything. Before Lisa could understand what that meant, a loud rumble echoed through the alley, shaking the ground beneath their feet. A sudden flash, and the world erupted around them in chaos. What had they triggered? Would they still have a chance to escape? As the night darkened around them, Lisa felt the ground shift, and a new dread settled deep in her stomach. Was this the moment they'd all been waiting for, or had they just pushed fate a little too far? With the shadows closing in tighter, Lisa braced herself for the fallout. Just as the first wave of uncertainty crashed over her, the ground beneath them couldn't hold any longer. Where would they land next? The tremors of the ground cascaded through Lisa's body, each jolt wrenching her back to reality. For a moment, time itself hung suspended, the chaos stretching into an agonizing eternity. The flash had swallowed them, and as it faded, her heart raced into overdrive. When the world settled again, they were no longer in the alley. Instead, they stood in a dimly lit room, stark and sterile, walls painted an unsettling shade of cold gray. Lisa blinked as her surroundings came into view, a disorienting cabin crammed with archaic technology and looming shadows in the corners that seemed to mock her fear. What the hell just happened? Miyuki stammered, looking around as if she might find an exit through sheer will. Is this his place? Lisa whispered, dread pooling in her belly. Caitlin stepped forward, glancing nervously at the door as if expecting someone to burst through at any moment. This is one of Derek's safe houses. He uses it to run his operations without drawing attention, Caitlin explained, voice barely above a whisper. But he's going to notice we've landed in his domain. We don't have much time. Then we need to act fast. What's the plan? The stranger prompted, scanning the room for any threats, fists clenched tight at their sides. Caitlin's eyes darted across the room, then she pointed to a heavy metal door on the opposite wall. That leads to his main control room. If we can get in there and disable his systems, we might have a shot at getting out. Not without knowing what he really has planned, Miyuki replied, shaking her head. What kind of tools does Derek have? Are there any traps waiting for us? Too many to count, but the EMP you activated can disrupt his technology momentarily. That's why he'll already be on edge, Caitlin said, her tone shifting to urgency. But trust me, we need to work together. He's hiding something big, and it's why I came back. I realized I couldn't walk away any longer. Together? Lisa echoed, her voice trembling. You want us to just storm into his lair? After everything? Yes. We're already in this deep. If we don't act, Caitlin's words were cut short by a thunderous crash outside the door that shook the walls. Suddenly, the lights began to flicker ominously, casting eerie shadows across their faces. Get ready, the stranger warned, their voice an urgent rasp. We'll have to move fast. Before Lisa could register the fear gripping her throat, she nodded sharply. Right. Let us go. They approached the heavy door, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Lisa could feel the weight of every decision bearing down on her. Memories of laughter shared with Caitlin twisted like knives in her chest. Was betrayal lingering still beneath the surface? On 3, the stranger said, their eyes locked with Lisa's. 1-2 The pounding on the door intensified, a foreboding signal of what awaited them outside. 3. They pushed the door open just as the latch clicked free. What lay beyond was nothing Lisa had anticipated. It was a scene painted in disaster monitors lined with static, papers scattered across the floor, and Derek standing amidst it all, fury in his eyes. He seemed to thrive in the chaos, a predator basking in his perfect storm. How convenient of you to drop in, Derek sneered, his presence a shadow over the flickering lights. I wondered when you'd find your way back. I hope you enjoyed your little ride. The moment hung heavy, anticipation crackling like electricity. Lisa inhaled sharply, heart racing. What had they stumbled into? As the looming darkness pressed closer, the question clung to her mind, were they truly prepared for the storm that Derek unleashed, a storm that promised to consume everything? The room ignited with tension as Derek advanced, shadows cascading across his determined face. Lisa's heart pounded like a war drum, each beat reminding her of the stakes. Their surroundings were fraught with peril, it felt like the eye of the storm had shifted around them. "Don't just stand there," the suited man urged, eyes darting back and forth as if calculating their next move. "We need to think quickly. If he knows we're here, he'll lock everything down." Caitlin took a step forward, summoned courage bubbling to the surface, a fire igniting in her eyes. "You don't scare me, Derek," she called out, voice steady, echoing firmness against his looming presence. "You've taken too much already. This is the moment we reclaim our lives." A growing darkness passed over Derek's expression, twisting into irritation. "You think a mere EMP can save you? You've only delayed the inevitable." Miyuki's breath hitched in her throat, fear threading through her voice. "What do we do, Lisa? What's the plan?" "Trust each other," Lisa shouted, the words spilling from her lips before she could think. "We can't let fear divide us. We need to take him down, together." Suddenly, the monitors buzzed to life, revealing images flickering in disarray. But among the chaos were files, names, connections she couldn't yet comprehend, all the evidence of Derek's monstrous web of influence. "Is that?" Caitlin leaned closer, eyes widening. "The records. We can expose him." Her eyes flicked back to Lisa, determination solid as stone. "We need to get those files." "Yes. But Derek will be on high alert if we make a move," the stranger said, weaving through the tension. "We need to use the EMP at the right moment to disrupt his systems long enough to grab what we need." Lisa felt adrenaline pumping through her veins like molten lava. "Let us do it. We stick together, hold tight, and when I give the signal, we activate the EMP. Then we grab those records, understand?" They all nodded, hearts racing, the weight of the world pressing down on their shoulders. "Believe me, this is my last play," Derek sneered, adjusting his stance, but Lisa could see the flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. "And it won't end well for you. Then let us see who walks out of here alive." She fired back, exhaling sharply, her resolve firm. On my signal the air seemed to thrum with intensity, shadows leaping around them. Derek took a step forward, eyes manic with fury, surveying the room before them. "Now!" Lisa shouted, and the world erupted into chaos. The stranger activated the EMP, sending a colossal shockwave through the room, a blinding flash followed by an anguished scream as lights flickered erratically, plunging everything into a swirling shadow. Now was their moment. They dashed forward, fueled by adrenaline, fierce determination propelling them. "Grab the files, now!" Lisa urged, racing to the nearest monitor, witnessing the chaos at Derek's height unravel. They moved in perfect synchronization, hastily retrieving flash drives, the weight of their actions heavy with purpose. Derek roared in a blend of fury and disbelief. "You fools! They were so close. Just a few more seconds. Get down!" The stranger shouted, pushing Lisa and Miyuki aside as Derek lunged, fury ablaze in his eyes. A shot fired, the bullet echoing like death itself, but the stranger deflected it, their body slamming into Derek's, sending them both crashing into a wall. Lisa's heart raced as the fight unfolded. "We have to keep moving." Caitlin reached for the final records, her hand trembling but steady. "I've got it. Now!" Lisa urged, yet their escape turned into a tight race against timed breaths. Derek's voice rang out, dripping with venom. "You think you've won? You're just pawns." "No, Derek," Lisa shouted back over her shoulder, every ounce of strength behind her words. "We're taking back our lives." They bolted down the hallway, an unseen clock ticking in their minds. "No!" Derek screamed, the walls shook as he pushed himself off, pure rage filling the air. "You can't escape me." But they had the upper hand. They had fought too hard to let go now. They burst through a door that led to the rear exit, sliding out into the night air, the cool breeze snatching away the weight of darkness. Behind them, a thunder of footsteps echoed, but the world outside shimmered with something they hadn't felt for so long: freedom. "Keep going," the suited man urged, urging them forward into the shadows of the night, desperate breaths fueling their escape. As they reached the street, hope ignited a city alive with the revelries of innocence and normality. Lisa turned back, her heart heavy, knowing this fight wasn't over, but they had taken a vital step towards peace. And in that moment, she knew they would stand together, bound by their shared resolve, stronger together. "Stay alert," Caitlin advised, still bearing the scars of what they had endured but fighting on bravely. "What comes next?" "There's a whole world to uncover," the stranger replied, a hint of pride in their voice, the sense of camaraderie palpable. Lisa took a deep breath, feeling the resolve settle in her bones. They had just begun, and though the struggle would be long, this fight was now theirs to win or lose. To reclaim the lives that had been stolen from them. As the dawn broke over the horizon, painting hope against the darkness, they moved forward together. And that, my friends, is how the story ends. But the journey awaits you. To keep riding along this thrilling journey, you need to subscribe now. Don't miss the next exclusive adventures we have in store. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this wild ride. It's how the algorithm knows you want more. Flood the comments with your thoughts and theories about tonight's shocking revelations. Only true fans understand the power of sharing in the community. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this incredible conclusion. Your support means the world.